Cutthroats dressing up.
Always playing a good
Technical
show.
difficulties?
Laptop technical difficulties. I've never been able to see this. I always watch, I'm always in it.
Yeah.
So this will be pretty cool.
Why aren't you skating today?
Oh, so I've been recovering from pneumonia.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, me exercising my lungs doesn't feel like a good idea right now. I might drown in my own stuff.
Some smooth jams today. There it is.
Let's go Cutthroats!
When I walked up to the Spindletop bench coach to get make sure everything was correct.
Clap with them. We got to get into the game mode. Ty, we're going to be super animated tonight. You're stuck with me and beer. We're going to have a great time. I got off beat. Oh, no.
Everybody did. It's all right.
Coach Meat did not get off beat, for the record. Coach Meat did not get off beat. Coach Meat is ready to play this game. Coach Meat looks like he's got his Cutthroats ready to go.
Oh, this sort of reminds me how the Valkyries do their thing.
A little bit,
it's a good look. Good look.
Woo! Scott Foxy!
Oh, I forgot I can't cheer with this mic on, just in case. Don't want to blow out one of our audio guys' ears.
I should have brought a noisemaker since I can't scream with the microphone.
Now, did this happen, the longer 3-part battle cry, because the team could not settle on a battle cry?
I don't know. It's always been CRD, and then the derby, oi, oi, oi. We've always done that as far as I've been here, and as long as I've been here.
Let me double check on what's going on here.
Oh, about to do some Derby 101.
I think so.
Are we live?
Okay, looks like we're about to do some Derby 101. My name is Rozzy Osborne. I'm a player for the Conroe Cutthroats, and right now we're going to get started with explaining how the game actually works. My co-host that's going to be a lot more entertaining than me is Ty, aka Mr. Sin. All right, so Derby 101, we've got both teams lined up on the track. So what's going to happen here is we have 2 girls from each team wearing a star on their helmet. That is their jammer. First one out is a lead jammer. She controls the play. If she decides she wants to call it off before the 2 minutes, she may do so as long as she does not get a penalty. How she scores points is for every girl that she passes from the opposing team, she gets a point for, as long as it's a legal pass. She may signal calling off the jam by raising up her hands and tapping her hips twice.
On that note, I got a chance to speak with both bench coaches and team captains. The jammers you're going to be looking out for tonight for the Conroe Cutthroats are Foxy Jaminator, Tasmania, and Bash and Carry, and Rage and Rican, although Foxy's let me know that just about anybody can jam on the team.
All right, we're going to get the game started. Here we go. Let's see what's going to happen. 2, 1. Oh, well, a little bit of a delayed game. Let's try that again. All right. Looks like we've got Rage and Rican jumping to jam right now. Spindletop makes it off with Kill Holler coming out first. Conroe Cutthroats trying to get their jammer out still. We've got Black 5-5, Bash and carry for cutting the track, going to the sin bin, 30-second penalty.
Keelhauler coming right through that CRD pack. Foxy's out front, giving her a little bit of trouble. She gets called off, and Keelhauler makes a clean pass.
Raging Rican still has not been able to get out of her first initial pass. Conroe's got to do something to get her out, or she's going to get stuck back there for the whole jam while the Spindletop scores their points. Looks like Keelhauler made it through again.
Now, everybody in the pack, it's really important they play sort of offense and defense. You've got to be able to support your jammer, help her through, push her, and use your teammates basically as living weapons. Try and get your jammer through while stopping the other jammer. When your jammer's still caught in the pack, it can be really, really difficult to be aware of where everybody is and what they're doing.
All right, Foxy's trying real hard to keep Keelhauler back. Had her knock her out a couple of times. Jam is called.
Important to note, if one of the people, part of the pack, a defender like Foxy on that play, manages to knock the jammer out, the jammer has to start from behind that player. So oftentimes, if you see one of these fantastic girls push somebody out, you'll see them skate back, cut to the back of the pack, and get just about as far back as they can, as quick as they can, to give the other jammer a little bit more room to have to catch up on.
Looks like we have jamming tonight. We have Lady Dispute and MJ Smash. The jam has started.
We are, as always, broadcasting from the lovely Rainbow Roller Rink here in Conroe, Texas.
MJ still trying to get through that pack. It looks like the Spindletop is set up as an amoeba to try to hold her back.
Spindletop jammer gets thrown off balance a little bit.
Looks like Tasmania has got a penalty. Did not see what that penalty was called for. Looks like we just had a penalty. It was on Spindletop for a forearm. I'm trying to figure out which player that was. I do not have her on the roster.
It is important to note that tonight I'll be what are called your color commentary. I'll be doing all the interesting little personal tidbits, while Rozzy here is going to be handling all the rules as a occasional ref, derby player. She's a little bit more experienced than I am at all that.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on board, Ty. The pleasure is all mine.
I cannot tell you how glad I am to have you here.
We got ex-con Vixen up to jam, along with Raging Rican again for Conroe. Ooh, and Spindletop is out again for their lead jammer. All right, Raging Rican gets out of the pack, and she is off. Way to go, Conroe.
Important to note that even though Raging is not the lead jammer, she can still score points if she can get back to the pack quick enough.
And it looks like Spindletop is called off the jam.
Another really important thing is awareness of who your jammer is, where they are, and how quick they are. A lot of times you'll see people call the jam off as the second team's jammer approaches the pack just in case, but really together, really intensive, on top of their stuff, teams are completely fine letting that jammer reach the pack and trusting that their pack will be able to shut them down.
Now, Ty, I'll tell you, if I were jamming, if I can't score, you can't score, so I'm calling it off. All right, looks like we've got Big Ben for Conroe on the jam. Looks like we've got a good play going on. And Big Ben is working her way out of the pack. It looks like CRD is holding Spindletop back really well. And Big Ben from Conroe Cutthroats, number 7, is out of the pack for your lead jammer.
First time we have a CRD lead jammer. Let's see if she can pick up a couple points. Spindletop already 24 points ahead here. CRD's got a little bit of ground to make up.
All right, looks like Big Ben got us a grand slam, 5 points for that pass. We have a panty, or was it a panty pass? It was not. It looks like the star just fell off the helmet.
Got knocked loose. Important to note, if you do not have the star attached to your helmet for any reason, you cannot score points.
It must be visible on the helmet in order to be valid. Way to go, CRD, on that trip.
Big Ben managed to pick up 9 points on that.
Right now, our current score is 24-9, game in Spindletop's favor.
Now, Rozzy, I've sort of noticed there tends to be sort of two types of jammers, and then people who tend to play a little bit of both. There's very fast, very agile, very aggressive and mobile jammers, then very tough, push the whole pack, dig in their heels kind of jammers.
So I like to call them your lightweights and heavyweights. Now, Foxy is what I would consider one of your heavyweights, but she's also very agile. And speaking of Foxy being a jammer, she is jamming right now, and she is our lead jammer for Conroe Cutthroats. But it looks like Keelhaler from Spindletop is right on her heels.
Really, I generally tend to categorize and introduce Foxy as sort of a bit of both, somewhere in the middle. I've seen her push an entire pack without much problem, but at the same time, I've seen her apex or leap over fallen players, dance around, and sort of weave in and out of the pack with no problem.
Now, being one of Foxy's teammates, I can tell you she can outskate me in speed, and to be frank with you, I'm quite terrified of her.
Being somebody who skates only recreationally, I'm sure everyone here, including the spectators, could outskate me in speed. And I'm also terrified of her, whether she's on skates or off.
All right, we got Tasmania up for jamming for the Conroe Cutthroats. And who do we have for Spindletop? We've got ex-con Vixen. Looks like Tasmania makes it out for lead jammer for Conroe.
Tasmania's ex-HRD, right?
She is ex-HRD. She has been playing for, she used to play for the Valkyries, and she's been playing for the Cutthroats here for a couple of years now. Taz calls it off before Spindletop can make any points, bringing Conroe's score up to 15. Spindletop still at 24.
CRD's closing that gap, and really that's what counts here. It doesn't matter whether they get no points or 5 points on a jam, as long as they can hold Spindletop and kind of work their way up, that's all they need to do.
Now, as any derby player, you're going to want to work smarter, not harder. Just let me tell you, it's only 2 minutes to us, but those 2 minutes when you're on the track seem to last forever. Let's see who we have jamming for us right now. Looks like we've got Skid Vicious from Conroe. And who do we have for Spindletop?
Looks like Lady Dispute for Spindletop.
Lady Dispute for Spindletop? Yep, it does look like Lady Dispute for Spindletop. It is Lady Dispute for Spindletop. It looks like Lady Dispute is going to be the one that's getting out of that pack first.
Foxy tries to give her some trouble, but she is tearing out of that pack.
Lady Dispute is the lead jammer in complete control of this. She will tell us when the time is over. All right, Skid Vicious makes it out of the pack. She's now completed her initial pass, but gets called off before she can score any points.
Rozzy and I were just talking before this game started about what this matchup kind of looks like. We expect it to be a pretty tight game. Both these teams have played the team that CRD just faced off against last week. CRD was at a bit of a disadvantage in the away game with short players, lost by just around 50. And the last time Spindletop played that team, they lost by just around 50.
Very close game. The last game that they played was Yellow Rose, and you were correct, Ty. They were both within 50 points. And looks like Big Ben is jamming for CRD, and she is your lead jammer. It looks like Keelhaler is the jammer for Spindletop, right on her heels.
Now, I believe these two faced off in Keelhaler's first jam. She had no problem breaking out then, but it seems like CRD held her a little bit better this time.
I would agree with you, Ty. It looks like they did hold her quite a bit better that time.
So you can probably answer this for me. How much, strategy goes into preparing for a specific team versus how much is kind of picked up on the day of, right? Like, how much practice is spent specifically worrying about how Spindletop plays, and how much do you figure out as you go along?
Well, a lot of what we do is learning how to play with our teammates, because at the end of the day, you got to trust your teammates. You got to trust that they're going to be there for you and that you can be there for them. And it's not so much like, hey, they need your help. I like to think of it as they need you. They're your family and they need you. They need you to skate so they can get out too. But we spend a little bit of time studying our team. I'd say about 20% of our time studying for our team and 80% of our time just getting to know our family and knowing how we play and knowing what our game is.
That's right. Seems like approaching with something that's uniquely yours is better than just knowing what the other person's doing here.
As long as I know what my teammates are capable of doing, I know what I can do with that. looks like Raging Rican is getting stuck in that pack a little bit. Spindletop is holding her tight. She is pushing hard, pushing hard. Oh, she got it. She got it. She is the lead jammer for this jam. Way to go, Raging Rican.
Any of you a little bit less familiar with Derby might notice the ref calling blockers off, basically. That's completely possible. Basically, they establish sort of a middle of the pack, or where the pack should be. And if the jammer gets far enough away from that, or any blockers get far enough away from that, they get called off, and the jammer's allowed to go through.
That is correct. If they are outside of the engagement zone, the pack has got to let the jammer go. They may not make any contact with them or even positional block them. They must stop where they are and return to where the pack is designated by the referee.
Glancing back at the scoreboard, we're currently 18-27. CRD making up that gap and holding Spindletop to just 3 points in the last 2 minutes of game time.
Oh man, and Spindletop makes it out for lead jammer, but we have got Tasmania on the floor for our jammer, and she is right on her heels. Woo, look at Taz go. Man, she can really fly around that track. And it looks like it's called off right before Taz can pick up any other points.
So we talked about Foxy. Where would you put Taz as far as sort of a lightweight versus heavyweight jammer?
Oh, Taz will out-juke you. She's small, she's little, she is fast, she's ferocious. Hence the name Tasmania, like a Tasmanian devil. She is small, she is little. As playing as one of her teammates, I know that I get stuck with her all the time. She can out-juke me without any hesitation or any trouble. And she's small and she can get low. And I'll be like, hey, where'd Taz go? And everyone will be like, well, where'd who go? And she's already halfway around the track. All right, looks like we have got MJ Smash for the Conroe Cutthroats. Who do we have for our Spindletop players, our away game? Our away team. Looks
MJ's
like
through
Kel
with
Holler.
no problem.
MJ's made it through the pack. She is our lead jammer. MJ's coming in again. Boom! She gets hit out hard by Rainbow Fright. Calls off the jam. Woo! Those are some tall girls for Spindletop out there on that track. And what I know about tall girls is they've got long legs, which means they can cover that track a little bit easier than someone like me. Now, if you don't know me, I'm only about 5'2" on a good day. Raging Rican for Conroe Cutthroats, jamming, and Lady Dispute for Spindletop. Let's see who's going to get out of this rat race first. All right, Raging Rican is pushing hard. She is pushing that pack. All right, she is going.
Working those toe stops, moving 2 or 3 girls at a time.
Conroe is containing that jammer from Spindletop. Man, goodness gracious. They are about right at the same level with each other.
Yeah, they're holding those jammers neck and neck. This is, of course, my first time seeing Raging, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far.
All right. Oh, man, they are both fighting hard. Neither team has given up. I think Raging Rican is trying to force a no pack right there where they're going to have to let her go. And they have to let her go. Way to go, Raging Rican, for pushing that pack. That was a tough... So she is right on her heels. Let's hopefully Raging Rican will call it so that way she's not able to score any points. She calls it before any points can be scored. Woo, that looked tough. I'm tired from looking at it.
Yeah, you can see how exhausted she was just a little bit coming out of that
both those
back.
jammers,
yeah.
man, they were both fighting hard. Neither team was letting up on that one.
And again, a reminder for those of you new to Derby, I know it looks tough, but imagine how tough it is on roller skates. I can't even stop on roller skates yet, and I've really been trying at it for a month or two now.
We have a timeout on Conroe Cutthroats. It looks like Coach Meat is going to take this opportunity and let his girls get some rest. Let's get the Conroes back and refreshed and ready to go. And it looks like when we come back, we will have Foxy jamming for the Conroe Cutthroats. Spindletop's going to stay on the track and figure out their strategy to take on the big Foxy Jaminator.
And of course, that handsome, handsome man in the pink there standing out, making sure everybody knows it's a timeout. Giving us those best little flex he can manage.
That is our very own and local Speed and Seagal. He is one of our most loved and cherished members of Conroe. Go ahead and take a time and thank one of our sponsors, Rainbow Rollering, for letting us host our game here tonight. Always a pleasure to skate here, open on the weekends and with special summer hours. It's a great place for kids and for really anyone of all ages. It is a great place to have fun at.
I'll go ahead and take this time to thank the Back Pain and Sciatica Center of Texas. Trust me, when you're doing something like this, you're going to get a little bit banged up, and there's only so much that Icy Hot can fix. Sometimes you really need a specialized center.
Absolutely. I can tell you that I have gone there after games, and I love getting my adjustment. It is the best part of playing for Conroe. All right, looks like our jam is back on. So it's Foxy jamming there, taking on Ex-Con Vixen. Let's see what's going to happen here. It looks like...
Oh, this is Team Captain versus Team Captain.
Ooh. It'd be like that Star Trek. Foxy jamming there is pushing hard to get out, man. But, ooh, they are swarming around.
It is a tough pack, but Foxy is out.
makes it out. Foxy makes it out for lead jammer. Looks like we're going to try to have a panty pass. Ex-Con Vixen passes it to Kel Holler, and they are trying hard to keep that star pass from happening. We've got a penalty on Spindletop for cutting the track, and we have one going to the sin bin from Spindletop.
Now
Foxy
that's their pivot who is holding the star, correct? That means they cannot score or have a jammer active in this play, right?
Whoever has the jammer panty can put it back on their helmet. Foxy working up the crowd over here, scoring her some points. It looks like Conroe has taken the lead. Foxy calls the jam, hearing her signal from Coach Meat, calling off the jam.
Now it is pivotal important that, especially as a jammer, you listen to your team and to your coach, but you can imagine in the middle of a pack, it's pretty hard to do so.
Whoa, timeout, Ty. Let me just interrupt this. Look who put 36 points on the board. Look who got it up to 36. Was it number 36, Foxy Jaminator? You like that phony I made? I actually got that from my co-partner over here working some of the more technical stuff. Bling, bang,
There couldn't have been a better time to call it.
Looks like we got Tasmania. She is our lead jammer for Conroe Cutthroats.
Almost gets tripped up, but comes right out of that pack.
We've got Albatross coming in as our pivot, I think. And was that Rainbow Fright jamming? Ooh, that's a scary lineup. Ooh, I don't want no part of that.
Taz grabs 3, easy, not tough looking like, totally just doing the chores, regular day kind of points. Calls off the jam.
All right, we got Kill Holler going on for Spindletop and Ragin' Reekin again for Conroe. I hope Conroe can hold Kill Holler. She is one strong player. Ooh, she is strong. Oh, and Bash and Foxy are holding her tight. They are not giving her much space to work with. They are working hard. They are working hard. Ragin' Reekin gets thrown out of bounds. It looks like it's going to have to be recycled back for her. Oh, Conroe's doing so good holding her. Oh, Kale Holler makes it out, though, for lead jammer status. Well,
Ragin' Reekin breaks out of that pack, too.
Back block. I hear a penalty for a back block, but I cannot see. It looks like that was awarded to Big Ben, number 7 from the Conroe Cutthroats. Kale Holler calls it before Conroe can put up any points on the board.
Now, a back block, of course, you can imagine when you're playing a sport that's on roller skates and full contact, it's pretty important how you hit people.
Super important. That's why we have designated legal hitting zones as players. Looks like we have an official review called by Spindletop.
Now, of course, this means Spindletop is upset either with a penalty that got called or a penalty more likely that didn't get called in that play, right?
Penalty that didn't get called, or maybe they feel like they were not awarded points that they feel like they should have had.
Of course, the refs and score callers do their best, but they don't have quite the bird's eye view that you guys watching on the feed have.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 refs. That's a pretty good game. It's a pretty good amount of refs here. But let's see what they're going to get worked out. So anytime there's an official review, it requires the captain and the alternate captain from both teams to come and talk with the coach that is disputing the call, or the team that's disputing the call, and the head ref. And the head ref will take what they've had to dispute, take it back to his pack of refs, or as we like to call them, a pack of zebras, and see who really saw what happened, and see if we can resolve the issue.
So many refs on the field. I often refer to the refs as their own team, and I know that a lot
Team
of the
Zebra.
Yeah, Team Zebra. Sometimes you see refs struggle a little bit, slip, almost fall. It's always good to be able to cheer for Team Zebra.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and give a cheer for Team Zebra. Team Zebra, Team Zebra, Z-E-B-R-A. Team Zebra, Team Zebra. All right, way to go, Team Zebra. Always getting yelled at with no appreciation. Way to go, Team Zebra. This one's for you.
All right, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our excellent announcer, Gulia. Fantastic, here for CRD every time. Former skater, now full-time announcer.
Oh, she's an announcer at HRD too, isn't she?
That's right. I originally saw her at HRD announcing right up there with Scarlett and the rest, and then was shocked when she lived this far north and came into a CRD game.
Oh, she's one of my favorite announcers. So animated. You guys would be having a completely different experience if you were listening to her instead of me. But it's okay. I'll try to make this as entertaining as I can. Me and Ty have jokes. That was one of them, not very good. All right, let's give a shout out to Tejas Bingo. While we're still going into this unofficial review, Tejas Bingo is one of Conroe Roller Derby's uniform sponsors. Tejas Bingo is open all week long for all of your bingo stuff. Have you ever gone and played bingo? I've never played bingo.
I have at Tejas Bingo one time, actually. It's a great center. Honestly, we did it in college a couple times, so we'd drive down and try and find somewhere to go, have a nice night, crack open a couple beers, doing something that's it's kind of a social activity, but still a little bit fun.
Well, I've never played bingo to begin with, so are you telling me I just get like a cool, pretty colored marker when they call my number, and it's called a dabber, right?
Yeah.
And I just mark them up until I can call out bingo?
It's such a great thing to do with your friends. You roll in, you grab a couple beers, you kick back, and somebody hears the number. You're going to be all right.
Well, that sounds like a grand old time. All right, looks like we are done with our official review. All right, so it looks like they were complaining about points not being given, and they are not going to be awarded them. So Spindletop is down one of their official reviews for this half.
Of course, each team gets an official review each half, right? And as long as the call is sort of sustained, they're allowed to keep that review, correct?
That is true. Whoa, MJ Smasher. Whoa, those jammers made it through that pack fast.
They were caught more off guard than we were.
Yeah, we were not ready for that. Looks like Schwarzenegger is jamming and calls it off. Was MJ able to pick up any points for that?
Now, maybe you can clarify
it does
for...
look like MJ Smash was able to pick up a few points, and it looks like Spindletop picked up a few points as well. That brings our score to 42-36 in Conroe Cutthroats' favor.
Maybe you can clarify for myself and our viewers at home. Is the jam officially called off at the first set of 3 whistles or the last set of 3 whistles?
So the way the whistles are blown, there's a cadence to it. It's going to go 4 whistles, tot, 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 tot. That jam is still alive and active until the end of that first set of 4 whistles. All right, we got Foxy Jaminator for Conroe Cutthroats.
Look at Foxy juke and throw herself around that pack.
And we have Lady Dispute for our Spindletop jammer. Ooh, Conroe is bridging all the way to the pack. They did a good job holding her back. Foxy Jaminator makes it out of that pack and receives lead jammer status.
Meanwhile, Lady Dispute not having any luck with the CRD pack. They are holding her without problems.
Looks like Foxy makes it out, barely challenged through that pack.
And Lady Dispute trying to follow in Foxy's wake and just move through the holes that the teams naturally have to create for her.
Foxy calls it off after picking up, it looks like to be I think it might have been a grand slam for her. No, it wasn't just the 4 points. It was just the 4 points. My mistake. 4 points.
Oh, that pack is looking mean and tough this time. Rage and Rican facing down CT Scan. Rage and Rican, of course, one of our CRD girls.
All right, Rage and Rican makes it out of the pack. She is the lead jammer. CRD is still holding their jammer back. It looks like it is CT Scan that is jamming for the Spindletop. CT Scan is out. Rage and Rican is coming on a second pass. She calls it off before CT Scan can pick up any points. Smart move by that.
Of course, the reason she let her get so close to the pack there, she'd already been passed. Why not let the other jammer wear herself out a little bit, right?
Work smarter, not harder, Ty.
If only I could learn how to skate smarter, not harder.
Impossible.
Foxy Jaminator versus former HRD, now Spindletop, Rainbow Fright.
Ooh, Rainbow Fright up the jam. That is one tough cookie. Oh, and Foxy makes it out first for lead jammer CRD containing Rainbow Fright Heart. Oh no, but they let her go on the inside part of the track.
Foxy once again showing that perfect fusion of great strength and great agility, shoving the blocker aside
Foxy
and then juking
is
around
trying
her.
to call it off, looking for a rep to see if she can get it called up. Oh, but looks like she got a penalty. She is going straight to the box. Rainbow Fright now can control this jam for 2 minutes.
Now, of course, you can't call off while you're heading to or in the penalty box, correct?
No, you may not. Once the penalty is called, you are out. It looks like CRD is down 2 skaters, Big Ben and Foxy Jaminator. This jam is running for the full 2 minutes, guys. We've got a minute left in that jam. Rainbow Fright makes it through that pack once again, unchallenged.
Well, she is a pretty tough and fierce jammer.
Rainbow Fright calls it off, leaving CRD with 1 skater in the box. Looks like Foxy Jaminator is going to come out of this penalty box having to jam again. Is she going to keep that star? Do you think she's going to do a star pass? Ty, what do you think?
I think Foxy's generally agile enough and far away enough from her own pack, pushing the pack forward. I really don't see her do many star passes in games.
I don't know. She just came off of that pretty tough jam against Rainbow Fright.
That's true. She could be a little bit worn down.
I guess we'll see what happens. Well, it looks like we have got a timeout.
So how does being in the penalty box function during a timeout? Do you come out at the end of it or stay in right at the beginning of the next jam?
Your time still has to be served. So you get, if you are given 30 seconds of a penalty and there's a timeout called, your 30 seconds will start again when the jam is active again, not because of the timeout. You're still stuck in there. Your time stops when the jam stops. All right, let's see who we got on the track. It looks like we got Dewey Decimal, Skid Vicious, MJ Smash, and Mary Poppins. Oh, Foxy's out of that box. She got out of there quick. Looks like she's gotten recycled back to the top of the apex.
Foxy playing mean.
And she makes it out for lead jammer again. Way to go, CRD.
Playing real mean with those Spindletop girls.
I think she's playing pretty nice, but you also got to know Foxy, it just hurts. It just hurts. Look at her scooting along that line, and those toe slaps pushing to get out. All right, Rainbow Fright coming back out. Oh, and she goes down hard.
The only kind of love Foxy can give is tough love on the court.
Tough love, tough love. Looks like Dewey's still challenging Rainbow Fright, making sure to tie her up a little bit. We're all going for the hits. It's recycling in front of Rainbow Fright to hold her back while Foxy makes it back to the pack. Oh, they push them to a no pack and they have to let Rainbow Fright go. Foxy Jaminator calls it off before any points can be scored by Spindletop in this jam.
The game is still real close. We're looking at 56-46.
It it looks like Foxy Jaminator was able to get a grand slam against Spindletop. That is correct, a grand slam against Spindletop, jamming against Rainbow Fright. Well, man, you got to feel pretty good about that because Rainbow Fright is one heck of a player. Let me tell you that. That doesn't happen very often, so the day that it does happen, you should feel really good about yourself. That's like a prize in itself. All right, Raging Rican up from jamming for CRD. It looks like we've got Kellaholler going in for Spindletop too. Raging Rican makes it out first. Kellaholler right on her heels. Hard.
A Raging Rican, some speed skating experience. You think she's going to try and force this pack a little bit?
I think Raging Rican is going to try to juke it as best as she can. It looks like CRD catches them, and as the jam is called off. There's a penalty. We've got 2 Spindletop girls in the box. I mean, Spindletop's going to start off with 3 players on the track. Looks like we're going to have 3 blockers. 3 blockers. Nope. Yep. No. Let's see. Wait and go see the penalty box. We've got a timeout. Ooh. So when we come back, Spindletop will have 1 jammer and 2 blockers while CRD is at full power. This is going to be a nice power jam for CRD. They're going to get close and take on XCOM Vixen to make sure that she stays put while Skid Vicious for CRD takes on Rainbow Fright and CT Scan. 2 former retired HRD players, and Skid Vicious is out. XCOM Vixen hot on her tail. Skid calls it off.
On that last play, Skid did an excellent job using her team to propel herself forward and try and move through that pack as quick as she could.
Looks like we are in a 10-point game right now, 63-53, CRD in the lead. Told you it was going to be a close game, Ty.
It's neck and neck. This is honestly one of the best games I've seen this season, including HRD and other leagues.
We've got a timeout again. Well, speaking of timeouts, I'm having a really good time co-hosting with you. How about you? Are you having a good time?
I'm so glad you're here. It's been a fantastic time. Very, very glad to be joined by an actual member of the team, although it's good that you know a couple members of Spindletop, so you know I can be the biased one and you can be unbiased, sort of middle ground.
So let's give a shout out to L&R Tactical. Actually, L&R Tactical is who does it? It's Leanne and Ricky, aka Burning Ember from CRD, and Bear, one of our NSOs. What they do is they will help you and show you how to shoot a gun and get your concealed handgun license carrying, or your looks like that CHL.
Yeah. Concealed carry license.
Okay, yeah, something fancy like that. I obviously have no experience in guns. I'm from California. Leave me alone.
Bear's been trying to get me out every single time I see him, and honestly, the second I have a free weekend, I'm going to be on it.
Whoa, timeout. The jam started, and Tasmania makes it out unchallenged to get lead jammer. Kellaholler is the jammer for Spindletop. Taz just goes right in between, unchallenged. That's what I was talking to you about, Ty. When you asked me what it was like playing with Taz, short, small, little, jukes me out. I can't even see her. It's like, where'd she go? Where'd who go?
Honestly, when I got into watching Derby, Taz was one of the first players that really stood out to me. I used to watch some of the old HRD games up on YouTube, which you guys can search up anytime. And Taz was one of my immediate favorite players, even before I came out here and saw CRD.
Oh, man. Taz calls it off before Spindletop. Looks like they can get on the board. We got another timeout. Timeout for Spindletop. CRD is going to stay on the track and figure out how they want to deal with this. It looks like we're going to have Raging Rican jamming for CRD when we return. Let the girls catch their breath for a little bit.
I'm so glad to see Raging out on the track. You know, haven't seen her in any previous games that I broadcast. She's fast and tough, honestly. I know she's been stopped by some powerful packs tonight, but you know, she hasn't let it get to her at all. When she breaks away, she really breaks.
All right, let's give a little info on our girls tonight for CRD. We've got Skid Vicious. She is the head of training for the team. Awesome player. She actually played before she played with Conroe Cutthroats, I think back home in California. Dewey Decimal. She's been playing for pretty close to 2 years, if not a little bit over. She was a CRD Fresh Meat Boot Camp player. Feisty Phoenix, she also was a boot camp member. Foxy Jamminator, president of CRD. Raging Rican, this is her second game with Conroe Roller Derby. I think she is a speed skater, and I think she's had a little experience with Derby to begin with, but she is back and she is ready to play, as you can see tonight. Raging Rican's taking on ex-con Vixen. CRD is trying to hold her back so she can get Raging Rican out. Looks like ex-con Vixen, though, makes it for lead jammer.
Ex-con with some captain-on-captain action tears right past Foxy.
Ooh, this pack is tough. Raging Rican is working hard to get out, but Spindletop is containing her. I think she's going to try to push the pack. Raging Rican gets out of her initial pass, and the next one will be her scoring pass. But it is called off by ex-con Vixen before it can happen.
I'm not surprised she called it so early. I'd be a little bit worried about Raging Rican too.
The way that she's been playing tonight, I'm worried. I'm scared, and I'm on her team. Score is 70-57 in Conroe Cutthroats' favor. Let's see what we got out here. Is that MJ Smash I see jamming for the Cutthroats? Against Kill Holler.
You'll see the Cutthroats play a whole lot of different jammers. They really like to sort of move it around, give the really, really busy work of jamming to different people.
Woo! Kill Holler makes it out first. Man, that is one tough cookie. But you know what? She's a totally different person than she is on the track. As her friend, she's really awesome. As her competitor, she's ferocious, dude. It hurts. She hits me hard.
I'm never under any illusions. I know any single derby girl I ever meet could absolutely destroy me. That's why I'm dating one.
MJ Smash is coming up for her scoring pass, and she is able to make it through and pick up a couple of points, it looks like.
We're going into the last jam of the half. 30 seconds left. There probably will not be enough time for another jam unless some really tricky stuff goes down.
Yeah, probably not. Jam's going to start with 14 seconds, or actually probably more like 10 seconds.
We're seeing Lady Dispute versus Tasmania.
Ooh, Lady Dispute makes it out. Oh, no, she doesn't. Foxy sends her down to the ground and runs her back and recycles her beyond the pack.
Foxy rolls back and says, yeah, come join me.
Taz is able to hold that and get the lead jammer.
Let's give a shout out to Foxy taking out the other team's pivot just as you go.
Oh, there is a pileup on that north side of the apex. Taz is able to make it out. Taz was able to make it out without a penalty. Everything is still good. She is still lead jammer.
No penalties thrown. It's just a tough pack this time. Everybody's really digging their heels in for this last jam of the first period.
The jam is called by Taz. That is the first half of the game, guys. 79-61, CRD as your leading team. Well, me and Ty, I think we're going to take a little break here, and we'll come back to you when it's halftime is over. Is that what we do now?
That's right. We're going to go to a 10-minute halftime. If we've got any interviews pepped up, we're going to run those. We'll join you guys in 9 minutes and 30 seconds after this halftime.
Fantastic.
It's been a fantastic game so far.
So much fun.
One of the most back-and-forth games I've seen all season.
Oh, so competitive. I love watching these two teams play, especially since they're all my friends.
All right, we'll catch y'all after the half. Welcome back to the Conroe Cutthroats versus the Spindletop Roller Girls. You're joining us in the second half. In case you missed the first, we are 81-66 in one of the most close, cutthroat, intense games I have ever seen. I really, really mean that. Spindletop Roller Girls taking the first lead jammer of the half. That's going to be Keel Hauler for the Spindletop Roller Girls, coming out of a particularly tough pack. MG Smash, the jammer for the CRD Conroe Cutthroats, hanging out in the penalty box. She's coming out and going to see if she can beat that pack. Conroe came into this half tough, up on points, feeling good. Now there's just 5 points separating the teams. That was a powerful first jam and a great showing of exactly how quick the tides can turn in roller derby. I've seen 40 and 50 point jams. I've seen jams that get held 0-0. You never really know what's going to happen in derby. Conroe starting out in the penalty box, so that means Spindletop is going to start with a power jam. That's a situation where they have a jammer active, able to work through that pack, while Conroe has to hold out. But MJ Smash comes streaming out of that penalty box and immediately takes lead jammer status. Spindletop jammer doing her best to catch up, but MJ moving, trying to clear through that pack, calls the jam before she can pick up any points to prevent Spindletop from grabbing any herself. Rage and Rican taking on the co-captain of the Spindletop Roller Girls, CT Scan. Jammer's throwing some hits, and CT Scan comes out ahead, while Rage and Rican having a little bit of trouble getting through that pack. You can see both packs trying to hold those jammers and doing a pretty good job. But CT Scan jukes and moves through the CRD pack as Rage and Rican gets sent back to the penalty box, putting Spindletop back in another power jam situation. That's what let them pick up 15 points just 2 jams ago, and it might be what lets them pick up 15 more points this time around if CT Scan can stay on top of it and work through this pack. And just like that, right at the top of the second half, we're looking at 2 players in the CRD box. Spindletop back in the lead. Looks like this half may start just like the first half, with Spindletop up a little bit. Let's hope that it ends just like the second half, with CRD pulling it together, pushing right through Spindletop and grabbing another 20-point lead. But that'll be rough with Spindletop jammers playing like that. Schwarzenegger, one of the alternate jammers for Spindletop, working her way through that pack. Taz takes a jammer off her feet, but not before she can call off the jam. Schwarzenegger picks up 6 points of that jam before calling it off. It's going to put us 83-93, 10 points for Spindletop. Conroe starting out strong this time. Nobody in the penalty box. As penalty light as the first half was, it seems like this is a pretty penalty-heavy start to the second half. Foxy Jaminator, very strong, very heavy jammer, pushing that whole pack forward. Their pivot comes into assist. Keelhauler pulling ahead. Foxy still having a little bit of trouble with that pack before she breaks out. Looks like we have another CRD girl in the penalty box. Keelhauler calls it, gets an opening from her team, and pulls through that pack while Foxy just shoving her way through. She gets recycled way, way back to the back of that pack. Keelhauler calls it off just in case Foxy pulls something ridiculous, picks up 5 more points. I am rejoined by the fantastic Rosie Osborne.
And I am back, guys. Sorry for that delay.
Rosie, you missed a pretty wild upset, as you can see by the score, currently 85-102.
Oh no, how did that happen?
2 good power jams, and Spindletop was right back on top.
Oh no.
Spindletop looking to continue that tradition, pulling ahead. Ex-Con Vixen tears right out. Passes through the pack and then calls the jam off before Taz can get around to score any points.
Ooh, it looks like Spindletop has decided to pick up their defense.
Just saying, let's hope this half goes just like the last one. It's fine if Spindletop gets a little bit ahead. Cutthroats just need to pick up that slack and pull right back on top.
Well, let's see what's going to happen here. It looks like we've got Skid, Misdemeanor, and Foxy Jaminator out blocking. We have got Dewey Decimal in the sin bin for CRD. Keelhauler, wow! Spindletop did a great job containing CRD and being able to hold that jammer back.
Spindletop's been working really, really hard, supporting their jammers, letting Keelhauler pick up a lot of points this half.
Ooh, and CRD's got their jammer Tasmania in the box. Looks like Taz is going to have to come out for his second jam. It is called off by Keelhauler before Taz can get on the board.
Another grand slam for Spindletop, but just in the exact same way Spindletop got on top. 1 or 2 particularly good jams to the Cutthroats could bring this to a tied or even Cutthroats game.
Looks like we've got Ragin' Rican taking on CT Scan for jammers, and boom, Ragin' Rican goes down and she is drawed back. CT Scan is out. Big Ben tries to knock her out. She was unsuccessful. CT Scan takes a lap and she is out for her initial pass with lead jammer status. Ragin' Rican is coming up hot on her tail.
Ragin' Rican looking to use those speed skater skills and put a little bit of pressure on CT Scan.
Oh, CT Scan gets out of that pack before Ragin' Rican can put any points on the board. Got Taz coming back out to jam for CRD with Dewey Decimal. This is our first game back after a horrible leg injury playing the Big D Dallas Roller Girls in Mesquite, Texas earlier this season. Foxy Jaminator, Skid Vicious, and MJ Smash. Lady Dispute for Spindletop.
We saw Lady Dispute juke and move pretty easily earlier. Let's see if CRD can hold her down.
It looks like CRD is saying no ma'am. No ma'am to that. And Tasmania is working hard to get around. It looks like Tasmania is going to try to out-juke them and get around. Is she going to be successful? She is successful. Tasmania is out, and Lady Dispute is right on her tail.
Both jammers looking like they're having a tough time.
Oh no, Tasmania's got a penalty. Oh, and Lady Dispute gets out with no challenge. And grand slam for Spindletop. CRD works hard to reform. Oh no, and Lady Dispute is out again.
CRD ready for it this time. Saw some excellent communication on the track between the captain and co-captain.
I'll try to make some room for Lady Dispute over there, but it looks like CRD is not ready to have that quite yet. CRD is working real hard to keep Lady Dispute down while Tasmania tries to work her way around it again. All right, Taz is looking to pass that penny, and it is off the Foxy Jaminator. Now, how that works now is the star pass means that the jammer can give it to the pivot, which is the lady that wears a stripe on her helmet, and the pivot will become the jammer. Now, the thing with this is, though, if you have a star pass, you have to surrender your lead jammer status. Now, that surrendering your lead jammer status happens anytime you get a penalty or you do a star pass. Looks like the jam is over. Score turns to 126-88, Spindletop.
Slight update, 131-88, Spindletop.
88, Cutthroats. But the game is in Spindletop's favor still.
With 17 minutes in the period, anything could happen. But Cutthroats do have a little bit of room to make up. They want to catch up to Spindletop.
You know, one thing I know about CRD is they've always been really good from coming from behind, always playing as the underdog, but they do well. Looks like Big Ben is working hard to get out of there, but CT Scan is able to get ahead of her and take lead jammer status. Big Ben works hard to get out of that pack. It looks like she got hit out and she's being run back. Oh no, and she is able to go right back in.
Big Ben having to go way, way back to get back on the rink. Finally breaks out of the pack.
It looks like Spindletop has decided that they want to play their own kind of tune this second half.
Now, Roz, how much have you seen Spindletop play?
I've seen Spindletop play a few times. Not only do I get to play with CRD, but I do ref occasionally with my husband, who is the head rep for CRD. So we travel here and there because we try to keep good relationships between our other leagues. And all of this is done, even though it looks like we want to kill each other on the track, we actually all love each other off the track.
You know, that's generally true. I've never met any athletes really, who've been so gracious, kind, approachable, and nice as roller girls, honestly.
Looks like we have got Kill Holler and Skid Vicious for jammers. Kill Holler with the lead jammer, but Skid Vicious hot on her tail, and Kill Holler calls it off before any points can be scored.
I would too. Skid is fast, she's low, she's quick, and she's mean.
Oh, Skid is amazing. She's a little fast on her toe stops. Again, it's another situation where you think to yourself, where'd who go?
Rage Enrica and Schwarzenegger are up for jammers.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed by Rage Enrica, considering this is her second game with CRD.
Honestly, yeah, she's been working against a pretty tough pack, and when she gets out, she moves quick.
Oh, it looks like Schwarzenegger gets out first to take control of the jam as lead jammer, but Rage Enrica is right on her tail.
What's your favorite thing to see in a derby game?
Oh, that is a tough question, Ty. I think my favorite thing to see in roller derby is I love watching those big hits. Big hits. I love watching your big players play. Like Bash and Carey. She's awesome. Terrifying. Foxy Jaminator hits. Rainbow Fright hits. CT Scan hits. And hey, even a little Kill Holler. She'll hurt you too.
I think one of my favorite things to see is always jammer on jammer action, honestly. Somebody makes it out of the pack and they're like, great, I'm good, just gotta keep my head down, stay focused. They're never ready for it.
Oh, where the jammer starts hitting the other jammer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, too. Oh, and Kel Holler is out of that pack first, and Foxy Jamator is stuck fighting the pack with Rainbow Fright and CT Scan, 2 retired HRD players. Well, that is a tough thing to go against. CT Scan recycles Foxy Jamator to the back of the pack. I hear a penalty for forearms for number 7, CRD. That is Big Ben going to the box for a forearm penalty. Kill Holler's coming around the pack with Foxy Jamator hot on her tail.
You think she'll call it? And she
think
does.
She will call it. Yes, Kel Holler does call it.
One of the most impressive things I always see in Derby is when a jammer knows, you know, the other jammer's right behind me, but my team's got this. I don't need to call this one. We're going to be all right.
I don't like it when my jammer does that because I'm like, that's a lot of pressure, bro. That's a lot of pressure, bro. Who do we have on the track right now? We've got Tasmania as a pivot. We've got one in the box, which is Big Ben. When she gets out of that penalty box, she'll return as a blocker. Misdemeanor and bash and carry. And we have got, it looks like to be Raging Rican for CRD jamming against Schwartz and Anger once again. Raging Rican makes it out to make lead jammer.
This could be the momentum shift that CRD has been looking for. Raging Rican tearing around that track.
Let's see if Raging Rican's going to hit it and then quit it. Raging Rican gets by for a couple of points, it looks like. I hear a penalty. Raging Rican makes it out. 4 points picked up by Raging Rican.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Raging Rican, the jammer, tears through and trusts her team to handle that other jammer.
Raging Rican's fighting that pack once again. That's a tough pack. You got Rainbow Fright. Oh, and she makes it out and calls it and gets up her points. Way to go, Raging Rican.
That was an excellent play.
That's what I'm talking about hit it and quit it.
Get through the pack and call that off before any other unexpected badness can happen.
Looks like our score is 149-96, Spindletop. I'm sorry, 140. Yeah, no, that was right. 149-96 in Spindletop's favor.
Big shout out to our scorekeepers. As tough as it is for us to keep up with the scores, you can only imagine from a small table without the assistance of cameras how hard a time they have keeping up with the scores.
All right, we'd like to thank Southern Star Signs and Graphics. Always making the banners for CRD. They always make them look pretty. I've got no complaints. Have you seen anything wrong with our banners? You better not say a word because I think they look awesome.
I'm not sure if our cameras in-house have caught any of them, but they always look excellent, especially at the fundraiser events. CRD always on blast.
Oh, speaking of which, we've got a Harry Potter mashup coming up on Sunday, July 23rd. That's going to be a good one. Who's your house?
You know, if there's a Slytherin team playing, I'm all about it.
I played on a Team Slytherin once. Does that mean, are you going to be my new Huckleberry?
I'm your Huckleberry.
Oh, I got a Huckleberry. All right, looks like we're getting our game started again. Looks like we have got CT Scan taking on Foxy Jaminator. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one. CT Scan is out. She is out. Woo. Foxy Jaminator stuck behind that pack with Rainbow Fright. Ooh, what a tough one. There is a penalty for a clockwise block on
It's like
Mary Poppins, it looked like. It looks like CT Scan calls that off quickly, though, so nobody can get any points.
Keelhaller was giving Foxy a lot of trouble there in the pack.
She gives all of us a lot of trouble.
Moves so quick, trying to broadcast what she's doing really does give us a lot of trouble over here.
Where'd who go? We'll call it a flyby from now on. Big Ben up to jam for CRD against Kel Holler. Kel Holler makes it out once again for lead jammer. The momentum has changed drastically in this game while Spindletop takes the lead.
Speaking of trouble, Keel Holler just cannot be stopped this quarter, this half.
Spindletop has been dominating the second half. It's because they are playing smart, calling off those jams before CRD can pick up any points and making sure they get out before CRD does.
(96-156) in favor of Spindletop.
Now, Ty, let me ask you a question. It's a joke. You ready for a joke?
Absolutely.
All right. So, what do you get when you get a derby player married to a ref?
I don't know. What do you get?
Divorce. No, I'm just kidding. We love our refs. Team Zebra. And once again, Spindletop gets out for lead jammer status. Woo, that girl can fly. Is that our...
Look at Tasmania trying to stay right on our heels.
They call it off, though, before any points can be picked up once again. That was Lady Dispute. Man, she can fly.
That was two jammers that really, really wanted it coming around that second turn.
Did you see Ben take off that pivot panty? She said, I was done with that.
It's a lot of pressure. More than any other player on the track, you've got to be aware of your jammer and what they need.
We have got a timeout. It looks like, no. Looks like we've got a timeout for Conroe right now. We're going to figure out what their game plan is going to be against this almighty Spindletop.
This may be a good time for them to take a minute, refresh, rethink their strategy, and figure out exactly what's going on in this half that wasn't going on in the first half that's hurting them so bad.
I agree with you, Ty. Right now, they're letting Spindletop play their game and sing their song. And you know what? Spindletop is playing it and singing it loud and proud.
What do you think is contributing to Spindletop really pulling ahead this half?
I'm honestly going to say it's the communication. If you look at them, they're working like a machine. Like every person on that track is a cog, and they need the other to rotate.
Spindletop has been doing a really great job of calling their hits, letting whichever player is assisting their jammer know exactly where they need to be and where they want to be at any given time. We've seen a whole lot of times when Spindletop's pulled ahead right on this first turn, really just taken off as the jammer.
Honestly, I'm not sure if is that a timeout or that's an official review. It looks like they are talking with the team captains.
We do have a strong herd of zebras present.
I do think that is an official review. If I could get the other side of Mr. Speed and Seagal, I'd be able to tell you, but it looks like he is making an O with his hands, which stands for an official review. Now, the difference between an official review and a timeout. Now, an official review is where you make an O with one hand, with your hands, two hands, so each hand is half of an O, and a timeout is you take your arms and you touch your collarbones. In a drastic, almost like a bird flapping its wings kind of view.
Or just, flexing and showing off a little bit.
Flex and touch but you don't touch your biceps, you touch the clavicle bones.
If I was a Derby Widow, I'd make a point of flexing as much as I could on...
So, like, go this way, like that way. I don't have any biceps, so don't look at me. It is an official review, actually. And they are talking to our head ref tonight, which is Bacon. Now, you can't hate on the head ref because, I love bacon. Don't you love bacon?
Can't get enough bacon.
The maple kind. The maple kind is my favorite kind of bacon.
My favorite way to do bacon, sprinkle a little bit of brown sugar in the pan before and after you're cooking it.
Tell me more about this bacon time.
Oh, absolutely. You sugar up one side, flip it, sugar up the other. The sugar
so it's more like a candy bacon?
That's the only way I make bacon.
So do you make that in a non-stick pan? Because it sounds like it's going to be pretty sticky.
It's worth sacrificing a pan.
So I love bacon. And I'm talking about the food, but I also do love our head ref Bacon as well. He is a rep from Spindletop, actually. Great, guys. Actually, let's take a little shout out to our refs. We've got Mr. Evan, who is the head ref from HRD. We have got a few refs here from Spindletop. Thank you for bringing your refs. Shout out to Team Zebra. And actually, if you look at the ref in the white helmet, that is Mastermind. He is the head coach from Yellow Rose. All right, so it was Conroe with the official review for a back block that was not called.
Of course, Rozzy's talking to our expert consultant here on the AV team, managing all the graphics.
Our unspoken hero for the back row tech group is going to be Bling Bang Boom. She's a player on the Conroe Cutthroats, and guess what? She is also like our knowing of all things NSO. She can tell you how to do all the things better than anyone can. So if you ever hear me take a pause for a moment because I'm not certain what I'm doing or what I'm talking about, I'm talking to her to make sure that I'm not telling you wrong. Woo, and this game is quickly turning around for Spindletop, and then they are pushing that difference far.
Spindletop came out of that half really, really hungry. They didn't win any cakes. I guess they were a little bit upset about it.
Well, I'm a little bit upset about it too. I didn't win any cake either. Maybe I should have been playing tonight.
The only thing that would make this game better for me is a CRD win or a cake on this table. You know, one of the two.
So CRD, you got two options here. Win this game or bring me a cake. Raging Rican's working hard to get out of there, and Dewey Decimal trying to help her out as much as she can and trying to contain that jammer from Spindletop. It looks like Spindletop is going to make it out first. That is Miss Gil Holler. Womp, womp, womp.
You know, most often I hear derby described as sort of like football meets rugby meets soccer on skates, but with no balls. That seems appropriate, but really I think the thing that separates it is the fact that you have to play offense and defense at the same time constantly.
Keller calls off that jam. CRD brings it up to 100. The difference is 168 to 100 in Spindletop's favor. Maybe I should get a trombone. Wah, 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 wah.
No, I still have hope for CRD. I think a Vuvuzela might be more appropriate. Let's get some World Cup nonsense up in here. CRD just needs to pull this ahead with a couple good jams, and they'll be golden.
Oh, CRD is completely capable of doing this. They just need to refocus, get their tactics together. Oh man, Big Ben taking on the whole Spindletop team, and she gets out.
Big Ben
and she gets
right
out
through.
for lead jammer, and that is exactly what CRD needed. It looks like we've got a penalty called on Mary Poppins 77 for a forearm, and she is going to the sin bin for 30 seconds.
Big Ben tears through that pack again, no problems.
Big Ben also calls it off before Spindletop can put any points on the board. CRD picks up 4 points.
If CRD can play tight and mean like that for the rest of the game, they'll have this no problem. You may say it's only 4 points. They have 7 to make up. I say if you catch just a couple jams like that, you'll be right back in it.
Hit it and quit it. Hit it and quit it. We have got a timeout. Looks like head ref Bacon is calling a timeout. And it is a timeout for... Looks like it's a timeout for
CRD and that fantastic NSO in that pink shirt, both flexing, showing those muscles off.
If you see our Mr. Speed and Seagal standing in the middle of the track, flexes off his muscles, that is what I was talking about for the timeout. That is the timeout signal that Mr. Jason Seagal, or Speed and Seagal, that is the official timeout view for it. So there's an official timeout, which is what Mr. Seagal is doing right now, and then a timeout would just be a T with both hands, and then pointing to the team that has called it. Now I'm going to see over here really quick. Ty's going to entertain you for a minute. I'm going to ask what the difference is between an official timeout and a timeout is.
Now I know you can't see it, but right this very second I'm juggling. It's fantastic. 6 different knives, a chainsaw, and a bear are midair at the exact same time. Now my favorite thing to do during timeouts is always watch the person calling the timeout. Sometimes he does kung fu moves while he's flexing those fantastic biceps. Sometimes he's, kissing on the guns, showing off.
I still don't really understand the difference between the timeouts.
Coming from a sometimes ref, that really means something.
I know if I hear timeout, I'm calling it as an official timeout. As long as it's the captain or alternate calling it, it is official timeout in my book.
I'm so glad you're here.
MJ makes it out.
Almost seems confused about how easy it was to get out.
She is called for a cut by Evan. He is not letting her get away with anything, so it looks like, oh my goodness, it looks like Spindletop is going to take on that jam for the next. Is she lead jammer? Yep, she was the lead jammer, so she will control the jam, and she is ex-con Vixen. Black 929, clockwise block.
Extra point as they pass that penalty box, of course.
Passing the penalty box?
Don't they score on the person in the penalty box whenever they pass it?
That is correct, yes. Looks like we got
ex-con Vixen tearing up the track.
We've got three CRD members. We got Bash and Carrie, who's standing up, ready to get out of the box. MJ Smash, ready to get out of the box. And Tasmania is standing up, ready to get out of the box, but none of them were released before the jam is called off, so they will have to wait in the box until the next jam.
Ex-con, a little sassy, turns around, throws a small salute, and whips that star off to all the players in the box.
Well, Mama said sassy is like sassy does. I don't know. I was trying to make something funny there.
I feel it. I always talk about 20-point jams when CRD's a little bit behind, but yeah, it seems like that was a 20-point jam in the wrong direction.
Womp womp. All right. CRD is working hard, keeping their head on that swivel, looking for that jammer. Oh, and Skid Vicious takes a mighty hit from Kill Holler.
If I took a hit that hard, I'd still be on the ground.
I'd be crying.
It takes me about 5 minutes to stand up whenever I fall anyways.
All right, MJ is out of the box, coming up on her. Oh, it's called off before MJ can even try to attempt her initial pass on that pack. Only 1 point awarded to Spindletop. That brings our total score to 189-104 in Spindletop favor.
Spindletop working hard the second half. Not content being 20 behind, pulling ahead and really putting in that work.
All right, let's look at this game again. All right, we got Foxy Jaminator jamming for CRD. She is working hard, trying to push that pack. Oh, but Spindletop gets out first. There is a call for a cut on. It looks like a Spindletop girl. Foxy makes it through. Oh, Lady Dispute calls off that jam before Foxy Jaminator can pick up any points. Woo! Spindletop is playing defense.
Spindletop working really hard. Playing that defense allows your jammer to get ahead. Really, offense or defense both works. The best combination, though, is a right down the middle. If you can hold back the other jammer with two.
Up jamming for CRD. It looks like we've got, is that Rosie Rawhide jamming for Spindletop? It certainly is. Whoa, that is a new jammer for this game. No, I'm sorry, it was not Rosie Rawhide jamming for them. No, maybe it was. It is Rosie Rawhide jamming for Spindletop. All right, and Tasmania comes around for a scoring pass. She is stuck behind those Spindletop girls while CRD is trying to contain Rosie Rawhide. It looks like they've recycled Tasmania back to the pack. Spindletop is on top of their defense, and Taz is saying, I'm tired and I'm calling this off. It looks like it was a break-even jam, 0 points awarded for both teams. No points awarded for those teams. We have got a minute left in this period. Boy, and that is a huge point difference. Well, not a huge point difference, but it's a good point difference. Looks like Saren makes it out of that pack first for their lead jammer. It looks like Foxy Jammer Eater is still stuck behind that pack trying to get out, and she is free. Making her way around that track, hitting that top apex. But guess what? Saren right on her tail after making a scoring pass. Fox is coming up hard for her first scoring pass. Let's see if Saren's going to call it or if she's going to keep running the clock. It looks like they're going to run the clock, and Foxy is going to try to get out of there, and Foxy is out. Foxy gets 4 points, and the jam is called off. Oh, wow. We have 1 second on the clock, and Spindletop is calling a timeout. The score right now is 111 to 199 in Spindletop's favor. It's our last jam of the game. Let's give a good cheer for our wonderful girls playing. My name is Rozzy Osborne from Conroe Cutthroats as your Derby Pro narrator of the game. My co-host Ty is going to be joining us back here shortly for the very last jam of the game. Tongue twister.
Sorry about that brief delay from my luscious
Skid
voice.
Vicious makes it out on the last jam of the game. Skid's going to try to close this up as best as she can to try to stop the bleeding.
You know, it's Rec League. They're all here to play. And
Skid makes it out of that pack unchallenged. Let's go, Skid Vicious.
They're really here to play. I've never seen a sport with more injuries, honestly.
You know
they
what?
love the game. They're going to play to the end.
Being a player and a part of just the Derby community, I've never played a sport with so much love. And Skid goes by a second time unchallenged. Grand slam for Skid Vicious.
Skid is tearing it up. You know, she's got to be loving that.
Oh, man, there's nothing that makes you feel good in your life than getting a grand slam. I've never had one.
Nothing like 2 in a row.
2 in a row. Skid Vicious goes again out of that pack unchallenged. Skid Vicious going through this whole 2 minutes, I bet, unchallenged. Oh no, Skid goes down. She is back up, she's working hard.
Skid shrugs, even she doesn't know how she's doing this great.
Skid's feeling pretty good right now. CRD is trying to help Skid as much as they can. Skid goes again, unchallenged. Trying to close that gap. She has got about 30 seconds left on that jam to see what she can do. Skid Vicious gets hit out and she has run back a little bit. She comes back around. There is a penalty call on Bash and Carry for an elbow going to the sin bin. Skid Vicious works hard. She is able to, she gets hit out. She's going to be run back a little bit behind the Derby players. Skid Vicious working hard.
Puts every point on the board that she can, and that is the final whistle.
End of the jam. She ran that jam as hard as she could. She brings up the final score. 202-130 Spindletop's game. We're going to wait for the head ref to officially call it off as the final score, and that will be the game.
Now that was an awesome game to watch.
That was an awesome game to watch.
CRD was dominant. Any jam, they were the lead jammer. They were on fire. But Spindletop just barely pulled ahead, started to make ground, and then did not give that momentum up in the second half.
Spindletop came back in that second half and said, like, hey, we've played your game, but I want to play mine now. And they were about business, and they got it done.
Absolutely. You'd see them pulling up on the pack, calling their hits, calling their shots, and executing on those plays.
Yeah, let's give a hands out for Spindletop, man, coming back on that second half. Good job, Spindletop.
And to CRD for playing such a tough opponent. We really couldn't call it here between the two of us at the beginning of this game. We had no idea where it would go or how it would turn out.
We felt like it was going to be a close game, and a game that's less than 100 points is always considered a close game. It's not considered a blowout till you have 100 points.
Not that CRD hasn't pulled a couple blowouts themselves this season.
Yeah, CRD's had some good blowouts, but, we're playing a harder team this time around, and you know what? I feel like we did pretty good. CRD's playing short-handed tonight, and they worked really hard. They've got some new players on the team that they're trying to deal with, and that's awesome, too. And you know what? All these new players are coming around really well. It's good to see them improving. It's good to see CRD adjusting to the change in momentum with the players coming and leaving. We've had players leave to go to HRD or just move away, and CRD is still able to adjust to that. It's really good to see CRD working hard.
Honestly, speaking from purely a spectator fan point of view, CRD is getting meaner and meaner every game this season. Like, they have yet to take a back step. Whether they're rotating in new players or losing old ones, CRD stays on top of their game, and I think by the end of this season and going into the next one, they are going to be one of the better teams I have ever seen.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Ty.
Well, it's been a fantastic game. CRD versus Spindletop. Final score looks like 132-202. Spindletop ahead. Signing out, it's Mr. Sin, Apex Predator, Ty Oden. A lot of names there.
And Rozzy Osborne, your favorite CRD blocker.
Certainly mine.
All right, we'll catch you next time. Good night.
Have a good night. After every game, CRD likes to award some MVPs. Their MVP blocker is going to be Taz, and their MVP overall is going to be Skid Vicious. They're going to get giant, fantastic golden records to hang around their necks. Most games. The MVP jammer for Spindletop is going to be Saren. And you can see a lot of love here in the roller derby community. The MVP blocker, CT Scan, looks psyched. Again, hugs all around. It's a fantastic, tight-knit community. All these girls are out here not because they're getting paid or because they're sponsored, but because they love the sport. And Keelhall, who we talked about on offense and defense as being an exceptional player, picking up MVP overall for Spindletop. We're going to wrap the game with a healthy round of pictures. Nice shots from Facebook, which I'm sure you guys will be checking out. Remember to like, love, follow both our fantastic Sports AV team and network, and both the teams present. Both teams, of course, showing a lot of love to their coaches and supporting staff. Let's give it a quick shout out. Coach Meat and Burning Ember for CRD as the bench coaches, and Refinator and Force of Nature for Spindletop Roller Girls. I'm sure you've noticed, but derby names really are my favorite part of derby, one of them at least. Lots of love to all the viewers checking this out on Facebook. Hope you all have a fantastic night. But join us next time, either on the 23rd in person or next time we are live here at CRD at the Rainbow Roller Rink.